Her name is Aisha Thompson, 28, daughter of a cleaner and a night shift nurse, the first in her family to finish college, the one who taught herself branding and strategy while working 3 jobs. Tonight, she's only a caterer at the annual Sapphire Gala, invisible to the gods who rule this city, until Victor Hargrove decides she's the perfect punchline. Victor Hargrove, 53, silver-haired, shark-eyed, the man who owns half the skyline and the politicians inside it. He's surrounded by his circle. Elena, his ice queen wife who smiles like she's biting glass. Marcus, the senator who sells favors by the dozen. Lila, the tech darling who spies on her own employees. Reginald, the banker who turns dirty money snow white. They call themselves untouchable. Tonight they're about to learn a new word. Fallout.it starts with a whisper Aisha wasn't meant to hear. While refilling their glasses, she catches Victor bragging about a redevelopment deal that will bulldoze her childhood neighborhood and replace it with luxury towers no one who grew up there could ever afford. She gasps just loud enough. A crystal flute slips from her fingers and shatters. Victor's eyes snap to her like she's an insect that dared buzz too close. "Careful, sweetheart," he sneers. "Some of us belong here. Some of us just serve." 10 minutes later, he proves it. He calls her over under the pretense of an apology, lifts his fresh glass, and pours. Slowly, deliberately. The wine clings to her braids, stains her skin, ruins the only nice dress she owns. His circle howls. Someone yells, "Now that's a red carpet look." Cameras flash. Aisha's hands shake, not from fear, from pure, white-hot fury. She doesn't cry. Not here. She locks eyes with Victor and says, low enough that only he hears, "You just bought yourself a war you can't afford." He laughs loudest of all, turns his back, already bored. But Aisha's mind is already moving at light speed. She slips to the staff restroom, locks the door, stares at the crimson streaks on her reflection, and feels something shift inside her chest, like a lioness waking up. She pulls out her phone. Her fingers fly. First message to Mia Delgado, investigative reporter and old college roommate. "I have the story of the decade. You in?" Reply in 3 seconds. Always. Aisha wipes her face, squares her shoulders, and walks back into the gala like she owns it. She smiles at the right people, listens at the right corners, memorizes every careless word the circle drops while the champagne keeps flowing. Victor's affair with Lila. Marcus's offshore accounts. Elena's pill habit hidden in a diamond-studded compact. Reginald joking about creative accounting. She stores it all like ammunition. By midnight, she's got photos, voice memos, and a bystander's video of the wine pour already circulating under anonymous accounts. She sees the first post herself, a single frame of Victor mid-pour, captioned, "When the elite remind you who they really are." She adds 3 hashtags that will trend by morning. Hashtag Poorgate, hashtag Elite Exposed, hashtag Know Your Place. She changes out of the ruined dress in her car, stuffs it in a plastic bag like evidence, because it is. Driving home through empty city streets, windows down, music loud enough to rattle her ribs, she screams once, just once, into the night. Then she gets to work, in her tiny apartment lit only by the glow of 3 screens. Aisha builds a war room. Sticky notes, timelines, leaked documents. She sweet talks from a junior accountant who hates Victor almost as much as she now does. She's not hacking, nothing that can land her in jail. She's connecting dots the powerful never thought anyone beneath them would notice. At 3:17 a.m., she uploads the first package to Mia. Audio of Victor laughing about clearing out the trash to make room for condos. Photos of city contracts stamped approved next to campaign donation records. A scanned cocktail napkin where Marcus wrote $2M kicks back clean. Like it was grocery money. She attaches a note. "This is only round 1. Then she finally lets herself cry. Not from weakness, but from the sheer size of what she's just set in motion. She cries for her mother who cleaned houses for men like Victor. For every kid in her old neighborhood who'll never believe the system works for them. For the girl she was an hour ago who thought success meant learning to swallow disrespect with a smile. When the tears dry, her eyes are clear, sharp, unbreakable. She opens a new document and types a single line she'll live by from this night forward. They drew first blood. I finish wars. By sunrise, the city wakes up to breaking news alerts. By noon, Victor Hardrove is trending worldwide. By evening, his phone won't stop ringing with people who swore they'd die for him, now pretending they barely knew him. Aisha watches the first crack appear in their perfect circle and smiles the smallest, fiercest smile you've ever seen. This is only the beginning. She steps back into the ballroom like a storm wrapped in silk, every eye snapping to her as if pulled by invisible strings. The faint wine stain on her crimson gown, it disappears against the deep fabric, swallowed by the way she moves, shoulders back, chin lifted, smile slow and dangerous. The orchestra seems to swell, just for her. Whispers shift from mockery to wonder. Who is that? Someone breathes. She's breathtaking. Marcus stands rooted near the bar, champagne forgotten in his hand. This isn't the woman he invited to humiliate. This is fire walking on heels, confidence poured into every curve. His friend's smirks fade into awkward silence as guests drift toward her, drawn like moths. Aisha doesn't wait for permission. She accepts a fresh flute of champagne, the bubbles catching light like her eyes. A silver-haired woman in diamonds approaches first. Your gown, it's magnificent. Custom. Aisha's voice rings clear and warm. I designed and sewed it myself. Gasps ripple outward. Soon she's surrounded, sharing her vision. Bold prints honoring African queens fused with sharp modern cuts. A top fashion buyer slips her card. Call me Monday. Talent like yours doesn't hide. Across the room, Marcus feels the ground shift. His prank has exploded in his face. One friend mutters, Bro, you just handed her the spotlight. For the first time, Marcus truly looks at Aisha, not as the cleaner, but as the extraordinary woman owning his party. Something sharp twists in his chest. Regret? Desire? Both? He crosses the floor, voice lower than usual. Aisha, about earlier. That was an accident. She turns, eyes locking on his without flinching. I know. I heard everything. The bet. The laughs. The black cleaner as your punchline. Her words cut clean, pain laced with steel. You wanted me small. But I'm not. Marcus searches for charm and finds none. I was an idiot. You deserve better than this circus. On the dance floor, a kind investor spins her to a slow melody. Her laughter floats, genuine and bright, reaching Marcus like salt in a wound. He watches, jealous of every man who earns her smile tonight. Later, under the balcony stars, he finds her alone. You're the most remarkable person here, he says quietly. I don't expect forgiveness. I just needed you to know. She studies him, walls high, but curiosity flickering. Prove you're more than money and games, Marcus. Then we'll talk. The night ends with a twist no one saw coming. Vanessa, his glamorous ex, storms in late, spotting them instantly. She raises her voice for the crowd. Still chasing new toys, Marcus? Careful, sweetheart, she tells Aisha with venomous pity. He cheated on me for months. Leopards don't change spots. The room hushes. Aisha's heart stutters. Memories of her own betrayal flooding back. She meets Marcus's eyes. True, he doesn't lie. Yes, but that version of me died tonight watching you rise. Still, trust cracks. Aisha slips away, calling her own ride home. Morning light finds Marcus at her apartment door. No limo, no suit, just raw honesty. Maya peeks out first. Mommy, the man from the pretty house is here. Aisha appears, guarded. He holds out her sketchbook, forgotten in the chaos. I came to return this, and to start making things right, if you'll let me. Over weak coffee in her small kitchen, he listens as she speaks of single motherhood, dreams deferred, strength forged in fire. He shares his own emptiness, billionaire orphan chasing thrills to feel alive. No excuses, just truth. Days turn to weeks. He shows up consistently. Grocery runs, park playdates with Maya, quiet support without pressure. When a design role opens at his company, he offers it fairly. Aisha negotiates hard and accepts on her terms. Her talent explodes. Colleagues respect her. Ideas flow. Confidence soars. One rainy evening after her first big presentation, he waits outside her office with an umbrella and simple words. You were brilliant today. Dinner to celebrate? Just us. This time, she says yes. Their connection deepens carefully. Late-night talks, shared laughter over Maya's antics, slow dances in her living room to old soul records. He learns patience. She learns some risks are worth taking. Maya starts calling him Uncle Marcus, with giggles that melt them both that a year flies. Aisha's debut fashion line launches to standing ovations. Front row sits Marcus holding Maya's hand, both wearing proud smiles. Cameras flash as Aisha walks the runway finale in her signature crimson and gold, blowing kisses to her little girl and the man who earned his place beside them. She started the night as a cruel joke. She ends it as an unbreakable force, proof that real queens don't need invitations to claim their throne. And that's how one humiliating bet became the origin story of a legend.